Hello, it is the DE Diva, aka the Delaware blogger, coming to you with another episode of Podcasting Your Purpose. And today's topic is podcast guest appearance pointers. And guess what? It is Friday. It's Friday, and it's the last Friday of May. Can you believe it? What happened to this month? It flew by. And again, with so much going on in the world today, wow, it's mind blowing. I just want to say to everyone that's out there, be safe, be safe, be safe, and be prayerful. This world, there's so much going on, with the COVID-19, with these killings, with these riots, with just so much, so much, so much. Oh my God, today's mug, strength. That's what I'm asking for, strength. God is our refuge and our strength. Again, this is a time of reflection, a time of prayer, a time to pause. So, what can I say? But it's Friday. Be blessed. Have a wonderful weekend. But again, today's episode is podcast guest appearance pointers. And if you had an opportunity, I hope that you were able to check out today's live stream on Facebook. I was there earlier. I got that done, the weekly wrap up from my blog, from my podcast, and from my YouTube channels. Again, head over to delblogger.com to find and follow me and subscribe to delblogger.com. Make sure that you are listening to me on my podcast. Let me show you my blog, Your Way to a Business Profit podcast. That's every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Blog Your Way to a Business Profit podcast. That's where I'm bringing you blogging tips and trends that's going to turn your passion into a profit. And then on Saturday mornings, I do on Anchor FM podcasting pointers, and it's like an accompaniment to the YouTube channel. So I'm just trying to expand my brand, broaden my brand, expand my exposure online, which is what I do on a regular as the CEO of A. Blake Enterprises, social media marketing and consulting. I work with business owners and individuals to help them not only be on the right social media platform, but to also engage with their target market audience and what I like to call an H to H manner, heart to heart. Remember, people don't go to social media to be sold to, they go to socialize. So we want to connect in a really great way. So if you are interested in learning more about me, my business, send an email to info@ablakeenterprises.com or head over to my website, ablakeenterprises.com. As a matter of fact, let me give you my Linktree ID. Jot that down, take a snapshot, take a screenshot, whatever the case may be, so that you know where I am on all my social media platforms. So today, let's get into the Friday. Let me move this out the way. We are talking about podcast guest appearance pointers. Now, we all know that there are topics out there, there's blogs out there, there's posts out there about how to do a great podcast interview. Now, I did several interviews over the years. I had podcasts where I actually had interviewers. My previous podcast before April 1st was Out and About with Antoinette. And that's where I actually interviewed people from in and around the state of Delaware who were doing positive things for his or her communities. So I did that for a while. And even before then, on my Anchor FM podcast channel, I also did interviews there as well. So you can still hear all of those previous podcast interviews, as well as, I finally remembered the name, All About Us. That's right. Teen Talk Radio. That's how I bit my teeth in 2018, I think it was, when I first started Social Media Sunday with the Delaware blogger. And it was an interview style podcast. I absolutely love it. I wish that I could pull up all those 100 and some odd episodes. But unfortunately, I didn't take my MP3s with me when I left. And that's a warning to you guys. Even though people talk about podcasting on Anchor, how you cannot own that, you do. And especially if you upload them to upload your MP3s to your computer, you'll have those episodes forever. So I had 110 episodes on All About Us Team Talk Radio back a couple of years ago. And there were some great interviews. I got a chance to interview some great, wonderful people. I just wish I had them now. But now, I'm doing the solo thing, I'm doing the blogging thing, I'm doing the podcasting thing. So whatever it was meant to be, it was meant to be. So if you are a podcaster who does interviews, it's great. Now, I'm talking to people who are been asked or who are looking to be a podcast guest, because again, we know, once we become podcasters, we know what we're going to do. But do you know what you're supposed to do when someone asks you to be a guest on their podcast? And even before you start pitching yourself to be a guest on someone else's podcast, that's what we're going to talk about today. So being a good podcast guest has, it's great, because if you do well, you'll be invited on again. If you do well, you'll be invited on bigger and better podcasts. So again, you're broadening your brand, expanding your exposure online. So let's talk about, I'm going to give you 15 tips that I found that I know, everybody's probably saying, oh yeah, you should do this, you shouldn't do that. So what I did was I found these 15 tips. I went through everything, I read through everything, and then I applied it to basically how I've done it, how it's worked for me. So number one, prepare your message. Again, know what you're going to say. If you are the GE Diva, aka the Delaware blogger that does this, know what you're going to say, especially when you're first introduced. Have notes right there. Put the notes down there, but don't read a prepared script. No offense to any of my previous guests, but I knew those that either were reading a script, and those that were just free flowing. And again, the flow of the show is very important. This is an intimate conversation that you're having with a friend. Think of it that way. So it doesn't have to be scripted. So again, at least know what you're going to say. Jot down some notes and be good. It's that elevator speech. You go to those networking events and you say, hello, my name is, and this is what I can do for you. No, relax. Relate, release, have a few pointers, but don't read like a script. Number two, use a good mic if you have one. Again, you can use the microphone on your phone. So that's fine. Android, iOS. You can have a microphone that's a condenser mic. Easy breezy, plugs right into your phone, right into your laptop. You can have a Blue Yeti mic that's set up, whatever. If you don't have an expensive mic, don't go out and buy an expensive mic, especially for your first show, first guest appearance. Use what you have. And if you do have a good mic, use it. It's sometimes much better than just your phone or from your laptop. So use it if you have it. And make sure if you don't, you are speaking clearly, or if you do, you're speaking clearly into the mic. Set the mic so that you're speaking into it. I tell people on Anchor FM, when you are recording your podcast, hold your phone to your mouth this way, not to your ear like this, but here, right here. If you have a lavalier mic, make sure that the mic is, close to your mouth. If you have the overhead mic, make sure it's to your mouth. So again, you want to make sure that your sound waves are going into that microphone. So make sure you do that, and try not to bump and move all around and things like that, because you can hear that. And if you are going to be bumpy or moving around, use a towel or lay a soft padding under your microphone. So if you're on this table, this desk right here, that makes this reverb, remember we talked about the reverbs, the sounds, put a towel there to soften it. Put a towel by you. If you want, use those pillows behind your mic. Make it that soft sound. Remember, we talked about the soft sound, and that's not only for the interviewer, but it's for the guest as well. So make sure you're doing that, that you're in an area that you can, knock out some of that harsh sound. So just lay a towel there, close your curtains, close your windows, things like that to keep out excess noises. Number 4, hydrate. Your mouth is going to get dry. Trust and believe. That's why I always have my coffee right here, because your mouth's going to get dry. Now, when you're sipping, make sure you're sipping quietly. If you're eating, make sure you're eating quietly. You don't want to hear crunching and munching and sipping and slurping and farting and burping and all that stuff on your interview. Again, it's very, very disturbing, not only to your hosts, but to your listeners as well. So just, hydrate, take a sip about 30 minutes before your show. During your show, if you can do it, fine, while your host is talking. But if your host is talking, make sure you're not slurping and all of that. But hydrate yourself about 20, 30 minutes before with, some warm water, some tea, wine, beer, whatever. Again, no judgment zone here, so that your mouth is good and moist, because your mouth will get dehydrated. You will dry out. So go to the bathroom. I know it's so simple. It's like your parents. Do you have to go to the bathroom? Go. Just go, even if you say you don't have to go, because the last thing you want to be is having an interview and you have to pee. Yes, I know. It's happened to me. Whatever. So as a guest, as a host, make sure you empty your bladder. Go pee. That's it. Even if you don't have to, try. Remember your parents used to say, "We're getting ready to get in the car. Do you have to pee?" No, go. Try anyway. So yes, make sure you go to the bathroom before you start your recording. If you can, get rid of the dog, the cat, the kids, the boyfriend, the bae, the boo. Get them out of that room, because the last thing you want to be doing is having an interview and the dog starts to bark, or the kids start to cry, or your boo wants to snuggle, whatever, and you're laughing and giggling and all that stuff. So just tell people, go, give me 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, if you can put the dog outside or whatever, because you don't want all of that distraction going on. It is not really nice for your host either, because this is their show. They're inviting you onto their show, and they have a following. They have people that come to them to listen to them. So they want to make sure it's right and it's tight. So, and speaking of noise, turn off your cell phone, put it in D&D, or put it on airplane mode, because even though, your host might be able to cut out the ringing noise or the vibration, don't make them do that. Just turn it off, shut it off, put it someplace else, whatever the case may be. Just turn off the phone. And even if you have a house phone or a landline, some people still have that, just set your landline on low or whatever, so that people don't hear the sounds of the ringing phone. Number 8, and this really gets me, because I'm always on time, but you be on time. Please be on time. When someone schedules you to have them on your show at 8:00 and they want you to call in at 7:55, call in at 7:50. Be on time. There's nothing worse than having your host wait for you, and vice versa. If you're an interviewer and you've told your people to be on the time, on the phone at the certain time, or on Zoom, whatever the case may be, you be on time too. If something happens, life happens, let people know. So make sure that you are on time. And as a guest, make sure you're there early. Like they say, if you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. So don't be late. If they say 8:00, don't be there at 8. Be there at 7:55, 7:50. Again, that is just common courtesy, and you just should do it. Number 9. Again, we talk about how podcasting is very intimate. It's a relationship that you're having with your listeners. When they choose to pop these earbuds into their ears, they are plugging into the largest sexual organ of their body, and that's the brain. So again, think of your interview as a relationship, an intimate relationship. It's a date. It's not an interview. Have fun, be creative. And you know what? Pay attention. I don't know if younger generation realizes that when you do go out on a date, it's about the person that you're with, the interaction. It's not your phone. It's not your friends. It's not all that other stuff that's going on. It's a relationship that you're building. So listen to your interviewee, get engaged in it. Make it fun. Make it a date. Again, it has to be fun as well. Be aware of any body sounds, to put it politely. Passing gas, burping, ahs, which most of us can't, lip smacking, salivating, things like that. Just be aware of your body sounds. If you have to fluctuate or whatever, put the mute button on, and then pass your gas and then come back, whatever. I'm gonna leave that one alone. Take notes. Yes, take notes or doodle, because even though the interviewer, the host, may have sent you a list of questions and things that you want to answer, sometimes you forget to mention something. So it's okay to take notes while you're being interviewed. And then you can come back and say, you know what, I forgot to mention, or, oh, by the way, or thanks for sharing this information. I'd appreciate that. So take notes, doodle, something that's going to give you some ideas, a bullet to bring you back around before you end up in the interview. Another thing, number 12, is know your host's name. And this goes for your interviewers as well. If they have a name that needs to be spelled phonetically, because some people have different names, or, some people call me Auntie Annette, Annette, whatever, just write it out phonetically and use the person's name. Again, this is a date. This is an intimate conversation. You want to be on first name basis. And you know what? Ask the person how they want to be addressed. Again, my name is Antoinette, but you can address me as Tony, and that's fine. So if you have a particular name, or your name is hard to pronounce, let them know how it sounds phonetically. And for the interviewer, make sure that you practice it. For the interviewee, practice it as well, because you don't want to mess up the names of your host and or your guests. You also want to avoid too many ums, and whatever. So just be cognizant of what and you may have to practice. You may have to practice progress. I say that all the time. Practice, progress. So try to cut out the ums, the ahs, and the knows. What I would suggest is to take your time and answer the questions. You may have a long pause or a short pause, and those pauses and those silences could literally be edited out by your host. So take your time when you're doing that. And of course, breathe. Count to 5 and breathe. You're good. Let them know. I mean, you're awesome anyway. That's why you're on the podcast. You've been chosen to be a guest because you're an awesome person. So let your awesomeness shine through. Of course, thank your host. Always say thank you for the opportunity to be on your platform, because again, they are extending the invitation to you. You've made that date. You're there. So it's just polite to say thank you and let people know that you're thanking your host for being there. And last but not least, number 15, promote. When the episode goes live, promote it, and not just one and done, and not just on one platform. If you're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, a blog, YouTube, whatever, Snapchat, TikTok, let people know that you were a guest on ABC's show and you're so excited about it. Promote it, let them know where the URL is, and it's never one and done. Use apps like Buffer, Hootsuite, Promo Republic, Meet Egger, so that you can promote it month after month, year after year, especially if it's evergreen. It is giving you more exposure, building onto your brand. And it's also helping your podcaster, because we're all looking for more audience. We're looking for more listeners. We want to build our brand as well. So those are just the 15 podcast guest pointers I have. Today is Friday, podcasting places pointers. This is the freebie for today. Talks about, now that you've gotten your gear set up, your recording installed and configured. Remember, talked about this. There's some location, some sound. So are you recording in your closet like Donald Faison, in a small room, a room with small wall covering, a comforter fort? Remember, we talked about the comforter fort, the 2 chairs and the comforter. Is there carpet on your floor? Did you turn off the air conditioner and the heater? Close the window, pull the blinds, and pad your tabletop or your desk with a towel to get that noise buffered. So again, that was today podcast appearance pointers, the last Friday of May. I will be back on Monday. That's right. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, stay smart, stay safe, and stay social, still from a distance, because I will see you in cyberspace. See ya. It's the DE Diva, aka the Delaware blogger. Have a beautifully blessed weekend. Bye-bye.